Okay, a few weeks ago, we teased you about a new segment that we're starting on the Personalized Fitness Podcast called Ask Katie. Now, the only thing is, I had no idea that we would have such a tremendous response. So we thought, we can't wait too long. We got people that got questions, they want them answered. So we brought our guest back today to answer questions in the Ask Katie today on the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Good day and welcome to the Personalized Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Williamson, president of Personalized Fitness. And we have with us today Miss Katie here answering questions for the Ask Katie section of our show. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
I should say welcome back to the show, and I guess this is going to happen like every week with the response that we got.
As long as we keep getting questions.
So let me tell you first how to get in touch with us if you have any questions yourself for Katie or for the show or any questions dealing with dispelling the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. Please contact us, area code 251-278-EDGE, EDGE. 251-278-3343. If I can remember that number, that's good that I had that in my head. You can also reach out to me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com, which is also our website, and our Facebook page. Hit me up on Twitter if you want to that way at Team PE. Okay, Katie, this is your show. And I couldn't. She put a box on the front desk, and we had so many questions come in, and some of those I think we had to weed through, but
maybe just a little.
Yeah, exactly. But we thought we didn't want those that ask the questions to wait too long, so we thought we'd bring Katie back on the show. I think she's padding her part. I was checking to see if any of that handwriting was yours.
I promise it's not.
Okay. So okay, Katie. First question. Take it away.
All right. I'm actually going to start with this question. There's a little bit of a backstory. We'll get into it. The question, though, is...
No, you're not starting with that. You're going to finish with that one because I can't wait to get to that one. So go with something else.
Okay. We'll start with this one. Not related to fitness, but what is the meaning of life? And go. For my people viewing online, I don't know if you can see it.
I'm so glad we started with an easy one. So
I know, the easiest one.
Okay, well, great. Well, I'm going to remind you, the name of this segment is Ask Katie. So I'm going to drink some water. Take it away, Katie.
This question stumped me for a minute, and then I really had to think about it. And just like our exercise programs are super individualized for every client that we have, the meaning of life is super individualized for every person.
I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be different for everybody. Some people focus on family, love, relationships. Other people are all about wealth, popularity. And it's really like just what you value and what are your core values and what brings meaning to your life.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take exactly what you're saying, and I'm gonna take it a step further. And that is if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that does something interesting that I've studied in the Live Age, and that was kind of at the core of the presentation I do in the book that I'm writing called The Live Age. In that those of you that are fans of the show have heard me talk about this. The ridiculous concept that time passes on the calendar and we deteriorate is an absolute lie. It's all based on four things. What deterioration is based on: fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and mindset. That's what controls all of it. And at the core of it all, though, is that your hierarchy of needs don't change. And what you were just mentioning now, whether it's money or it's love or validation.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people that retire. That's one of the reasons why they go downhill, is because they feel like they've lost their purpose.
Yeah.
So, and I can sum that up. I can show you how we address that actually.
Okay.
Easy. I mean, what are we trying to strive for? What are we trying to find for every single one of our clients?
Their level of wellness.
Bingo. Because what you were saying, their needs are their level of wellness. So
right.
I paid a good bit of money for this. I don't really want to drop the mic, but I did. Anyway, sorry, this is the Ask Katie section, but that's what you're driving at.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I said like it's so individualized. Like
Absolutely.
Everybody has their own unique needs and meaning and however you live.
Well, this predates you a little bit, but the first podcast, the very first podcast, the Personalized Fitness Podcast, was titled. It was the one thing that everybody's looking for. And I said it, and I did it on my radio show also, and I shocked a lot of people because I said everybody really wants the same thing, and the answer was your level of wellness. So,
yeah.
So I hope that sufficiently answers, what is the meaning of life.
And go.
There you go. And go. There you go.
Our next one is, why does Gary make me run? Sorry, Casey, I don't know.
Speaking of individualized, by the way, these aren't signed.
No,
but we do know.
No, I do know who wrote this.
Yeah.
The one person that goes on runs with Gary. They're good for you. Get out there, get that fresh air. It's been so nice here. I can't believe it's February and it's so nice outside. Like,
well, it's just like your hometown, right?
No. Let's take a second.
For those of you that don't remember, Katie actually hails from
upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that. So it's not quite like your hometown.
No, it is low 30s, if not 20s.
Well,
still some snow.
Casey, there you go. It could be worse. Gary could be from upstate New York. You could live up there, and he'd have you. I'm sure Gary would probably have her out running anyway. So I don't doubt it. So, what else?
Our next question: am I still making progress if I'm not sore? And I really love that question because we talked about it last podcast too.
Yeah.
Yes, you are still making progress if you're not sore.
Well, how is that? Why? Why do you say that?
Why? Because it depends on your amount of recovery. Everybody's going to recover a little bit differently too. But you can still tear muscle fibers and not be sore. It depends on how much you're tearing that muscle fiber and then how you recover from tearing it.
Exactly. So what a lot of people don't realize that I have this conversation a lot, again, back with Live Age. I have this conversation a lot about, Grandma, gosh, she was doing great. She'd walk out every day and get in her yard, and then she'd walk to the mailbox to get her mail, but she's not doing that anymore. Well, believe it or not, that's a form of exercise. I mean, walking across the street, getting up and going to your refrigerator is a form of exercise. And doing things repetitively like that, you have, like you're saying, you have minute muscle tears. And in a workout, it doesn't have to go to that complete pain threshold. Now, I will say that I happen to know a particular trainer that one that's from upstate New York that can cause that kind of pain. That's for sure, if
Just
need
a few
be.
times.
So, but no, it's not. That's a major misnomer in our field.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of people are like, I don't get sore anymore.
Right.
And it's like, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, what else we got?
All right. Are there any amateur athletic competitions in our area that you can recommend? Personally, I am from upstate New York, moved in May, have not been here long enough to know if there are any amateur competitions. But one thing that's really picking up in my generation that I think is interesting and worth talking about is pickleball.
Yeah, very much so.
Pickleball was popular in New York, but I think racquetball was a little bit more popular because it's an inside sport. It's not very nice a lot up there. So we played a lot of racquetball because that's indoors, but pickleball down here is so awesome.
Right. And I have to agree with you and I hate to tell you this. We were talking about this before the show. I have actually not played pickleball yet.
Oh my goodness, we need to play.
You're right.
We need to play pickleball.
But you're right. It's going on everywhere. My wife and I were on the Eastern Shore walking our dogs, and it was just a random Sunday, and we drove downtown, and we're going to Mancy's, and across the street, kind of across the street, there's a park. And where they have all these tennis courts that have been converted to pickleball courts. They were loaded. There wasn't even a tournament going on. Yeah. It was just a random Sunday. So.
People love pickleball.
Very much so. But on that other note, since the question did ask any competitions in our area that you can recommend. Now that's an athletic event or actually a sport going on, but it's not really. Well, there are competitions. I mean, there are pickleball competitions, but they didn't mention any particular type of sport. So first and foremost, the one place you can contact is the Mobile Sports Authority, because there are a lot of competitions coming to town that you can actually watch. There's others that you can participate in, and they have a list of those. Also, again, it depends on what particular activity you want to get involved in. USA, I raced for Team USA, and the USA or Team USA athletics have a myriad of sports that they have on the amateur level that are age group competitions that you can compete in. Maybe not so. Some of them maybe locally, but there's competitions in our region, and then some of them they have national championships. They have world championships. That's the one I do in multisport. Multisport, there's at least 8 different disciplines. I'm going to the Multisport Festival in Dallas, and there's there's 7 different competitions at
That's
that
awesome.
one. So best way on that, if you don't mind me saying, Katie, since this is Ask Katie.
Yeah, of
Katie
course.
Ask Garrett. So.
Katie Ask Garrett.
And that is contact us, because we really want to get more into what particular sports you may be interested in getting involved in, and we can help you find that competition. We'd be more than glad to do that. It's a fantastic goal. So,
For sure.
sorry about that.
No, it's totally okay.
Steal your thunder.
Well, one amateur athletic competition I recently competed in was a keg throwing competition.
She did. This is true. So check out our Facebook page. The picture of her with her looks like a world championship trophy.
Biggest trophy I've ever gotten in my whole life.
Well, justifiably so.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It was worth it.
Yeah. You're trying to get away from talking more about that, but don't worry. I'll ask a question in a minute. Go ahead.
So the question I got is, how do I train so I can compete in a keg throw?
She's not lying.
It's true.
Really,
like,
that's exactly what the question was.
So we can compete in a keg throwing competition. Well, first thing, I would recommend having some college experience. That really helps me out along the way. But no, honestly, it was super interesting. You watched all these different people trying different forms. You weren't allowed to go up over your head, and you weren't allowed to spin almost like a discus throw.
Right.
So I ended up doing like a one-arm, almost, I don't want to say kettlebell swing because it was out to the side, but like a one-arm swing, almost like you would throw a bowling ball.
Yeah.
And I launched it 29 feet for the win.
Awesome. Tremendous. How many of you have thrown a keg 29 feet? I mean, raise your hand. I mean, definitely not me. Exactly. Just one and one only. So
it's an annual thing, so we can all compete next year. We can all train together and compete next year.
Fantastic. Well, and now where would you go? Where would you go to find a professional? I mean, a qualified professional that would be trained in and certified and possibly have a degree in the field, qualified to train somebody
to throw a keg.
Where would that be?
Personal Edge Fitness.
It is the Personal Edge Fitness podcast, so I guess we do have to point that out. So there is only one trainer in town that's uniquely trained to teach you how to win a keg throwing competition. Correct. Which, I mean, that's pretty much everybody's level of wellness, I would have to say.
Oh, for sure.
It all comes right back around.
Right back around, living my best level of wellness. That is the meaning.
I mean, that's some people, their bucket list is travel to Israel, climb Everest, and not yours. You cross something right off.
Cross it off. I threw a keg.
Exactly.
Won a trophy.
And it's well, it didn't say much. It's about as tall as me. And but I mean, it looks like a world champion sitting on our front desk.
Yeah.
And she had the only place that she and Erica could get a picture for our Facebook page was to go outside where our sign is a 6-foot sign and it's about 20 feet in the air, because that's the only way we get the logo in with that trophy. Right, the logo
in with the trophy and me.
It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah,
so,
my parents were proud.
I'm sure, definitely so. Well, I didn't think we'd have quite as much fun.
No, it definitely was fun. Please keep the questions coming.
They're awesome.
I'm loving this.
Exactly. But we're serious about that. If you have any serious questions, of course, dealing with health, fitness, and wellness. By the way, besides the fact of her outstanding keg throwing talents, Katie also, I mean, she has an incredible background. Tell us about your background in fitness.
Yeah. So I was a 4-year basketball athlete in college. It was a small D3 school, but don't discredit our D3 athletes.
Definitely not.
During that time, I got my bachelor's in fitness development, and then I also have a master's in exercise science. So
she's more than uniquely qualified to answer your questions, but at the same time, had a lot of fun with those.
Not a lot of people have these qualifications.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Exactly. So the keg throwing, the meaning of life,
right?
And why does Gary make me run? That has to be probably the top of the list. So.
No, for sure.
Look, if you want to ask, got any more questions for Katie? Give me your email address.
It's just Katie, Katie at personaledgefitness.com, and then we also have the Dropbox.
Yeah, it's Dropbox on the front desk here also. So and you can submit them over the Eastern Shore with Josh.
Yeah,
so he'd be more than glad to collect them over there. So. But it also, you can reach out to the show at 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also contact me, Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That's, of course, our website and our Facebook page. Hit us up at Team PE to follow up with your questions for Ask Katie. And I guess we'll probably be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you all so much for listening. And I hope yet again, this actually helps you reach your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining us today.